Picture this, a god so chaotic, so unpredictable, that even the ancient Egyptians couldn't decide if he was a force of destruction or a necessary evil. His name is Set, the god of storms, deserts, and chaos, and his myths are as wild and untamed as the desert winds he commands. From betraying his own brother to battling gods for supremacy, Set's stories are filled with drama, intrigue, and a touch of madness. But why does a god of chaos hold such a powerful place in Egyptian mythology? And what can his myths teach us about the balance between order and disorder in the universe? In this video, we're diving deep into 25 powerful myths about Set, the Egyptian god of chaos. These stories will take you on a journey through ancient Egypt, where gods walked among mortals and chaos was just as important as order. So, if you're ready to unravel the mysteries of one of mythology's most complex figures, let's begin. Now, let's step back to the very beginning where the story of Set takes root. Born to Geb, the earth god, and Nut, the sky goddess, Set entered the world as one of 5 siblings, each destined to play a pivotal role in Egyptian mythology. From the moment of his birth, Set stood apart, while his brothers Osiris and Horus and his sisters Isis and Nephthys were often associated with order, fertility, and protection. Set's energy was different, raw, untamed, and brimming with chaos. Even as a child, his unpredictable nature set him apart, foreshadowing the turbulent path he would later walk. The rivalry between Set and his siblings, particularly Osiris, began early. Osiris, the eldest, was seen as a natural leader, embodying stability and growth. Set, on the other hand, seemed to thrive in disruption. This tension wasn't just personal, it was symbolic. The ancient Egyptians believed that the universe required a balance between order and chaos, and Set's very existence represented the chaotic force that challenged and, in some ways, defined the boundaries of order. His birth wasn't just the arrival of another god, it was the introduction of a force that would shape the myths and beliefs of an entire civilization. From the start, Set's chaotic nature was evident. Stories tell of his fierce temper and his tendency to act on impulse, traits that would later define his most infamous deeds. But it's important to remember that chaos, in the eyes of the ancient Egyptians, wasn't purely negative. It was a necessary counterpart to order, a reminder that even the most stable systems need disruption to evolve. Set's birth, then, wasn't just the beginning of his story. It was the beginning of a cosmic balance that would play out in countless myths to come. As we move forward, we'll see how this early tension between Set and his siblings sets the stage for some of the most dramatic and enduring tales in Egyptian mythology. But for now, let's pause here with the image of a young Set, already marked by chaos, standing at the edge of a world that would both fear and need him. Now let's turn our attention to Set's place among the gods of ancient Egypt. As the god of chaos, storms, and the desert, Set held a unique and complex position in the Egyptian pantheon. Unlike many deities who were worshipped for their nurturing or protective qualities, Set embodied the untamed forces of nature, wild, unpredictable, and often destructive. Yet, this very unpredictability made him both feared and respected by the ancient Egyptians. They understood that chaos, though dangerous, was an essential part of the natural order. Set's association with storms and the desert reveals much about his character. Storms, with their sudden violence and power, were seen as manifestations of his chaotic energy. The desert, too, was a fitting symbol for Set. Harsh, barren, and unforgiving, it represented the extremes of his nature, a place where life struggled to survive, yet also a space of transformation and renewal. In this way, Set was not just a god of destruction, he was also a force of change, challenging the status quo and pushing the boundaries of what was possible. But Set's role wasn't purely destructive. Despite his fearsome reputation, he was also seen as a protector. In one of his lesser-known roles, Set was believed to defend the sun god Ra during his nightly journey through the underworld. Here, Set's chaotic energy was harnessed for good as he battled the serpent Apophis, a creature of pure chaos that threatened to devour Ra and plunge the world into eternal darkness. This duality, destroyer and protector, shows how the ancient Egyptians viewed Set as a necessary force, one that could bring both ruin and salvation. This dual nature made Set a figure of both reverence and caution. While his chaotic tendencies could bring disaster, they also had the potential to clear the way for new beginnings. The ancient Egyptians understood that without chaos, there could be no growth or transformation. Set, in all his complexity, embodied this truth, reminding them that even the most destructive forces could serve a greater purpose. As we continue, we'll see how this duality plays out in some of Set's most famous myths, where his actions often blur the line between villainy and necessity. But for now, let's hold on to this image of Set, a god who was as much a guardian as he was a disruptor, a figure who challenged the very fabric of order while also defending it. Now, let's step into one of the most dramatic and pivotal moments in Egyptian mythology, the murder of Osiris by Set. This myth not only defines Set's role as the ultimate agent of chaos, but also reveals the deep-seated tensions within the divine family. Osiris, the god of the afterlife and fertility, was beloved by the people of Egypt, known for his wisdom and benevolence. Set, his brother, stood in stark contrast, a figure of raw power and unpredictability. Their relationship was fraught with rivalry, and it was this tension that would lead to one of the most infamous acts in mythology. The story begins with a grand feast hosted by Set in honor of Osiris. On the surface, it seemed like a gesture of goodwill, but beneath it lay a sinister plot. Set had crafted a beautifully ornate chest designed to fit only one person perfectly, Osiris. During the feast, Set proposed a game, challenging the guests to see who could fit inside the chest. One by one, they tried and failed until it was Osiris's turn. Unaware of the trap, Osiris stepped into the chest, and in that moment, Set and his conspirators slammed the lid shut, sealing Osiris inside. The chest was then thrown into the Nile, sending Osiris to his watery grave. But Set's betrayal didn't end there. Driven by jealousy and a desire for power, he later retrieved Osiris's body and dismembered it into 14 pieces, scattering them across Egypt. This gruesome act was more than just an expression of rage. It was a deliberate attempt to prevent Osiris from being resurrected, ensuring his brother's permanent demise. The dismemberment symbolized the ultimate chaos, a complete unraveling of order and life itself. Yet, even in this act of destruction, Set's role as a catalyst for transformation becomes evident. Osiris's wife, Isis, would later gather the pieces of his body and, with the help of other gods, restore him to life. Though Osiris could no longer rule the living, he became the lord of the underworld, a role that would define him for eternity. In this way, Set's chaos inadvertently gave rise to a new order, one that balanced life and death, creation and destruction. The murder of Osiris cemented Set's reputation as the embodiment of chaos and disorder. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of order and the ever-present threat of upheaval. For the ancient Egyptians, this myth wasn't just a tale of divine conflict. It was a reflection of the natural world, where chaos and order are locked in an eternal struggle. Set's actions, though brutal, underscored the necessity of chaos as a force that challenges and reshapes the world, even as it brings destruction. As we move forward, we'll see how this act of betrayal sets the stage for the epic conflict between Set and Horus, a battle that would further define the boundaries of chaos and order in Egyptian mythology. But for now, let's reflect on the profound impact of Set's actions, how his chaos, though devastating, ultimately played a crucial role in the balance of the universe. Now, as we turn the page to the next chapter in this divine saga, we find ourselves at the heart of one of the most legendary conflicts in Egyptian mythology, the battle between Set and Horus. This epic struggle wasn't just a clash of gods, it was a cosmic showdown between chaos and order, a fight that would shape the fate of the world itself. Horus, the son of Osiris and Isis, was destined to avenge his father's murder and reclaim the throne of Egypt. Set, the embodiment of chaos, stood as his greatest adversary, determined to maintain his grip on power. The conflict began with a series of trials and challenges, each more intense than the last. Horus, representing order and justice, sought to prove his worthiness to rule, while Set, ever the trickster, used every means at his disposal to undermine him. One of the most famous episodes in this battle involved a test of strength and cunning. Set challenged Horus to a boat race, but with a twist. The boats were made of stone. While Horus cleverly crafted a wooden boat disguised as stone, Set's vessel sank, showcasing Horus's ingenuity and Set's overconfidence. But the battles weren't just physical, they were deeply symbolic. In one particularly dramatic encounter, Set transformed into a fearsome hippopotamus, attempting to destroy Horus's boat and drown him in the Nile. Horus, however, fought back with a harpoon, striking Set and forcing him to retreat. This moment wasn't just a victory for Horus, it was a triumph of order over chaos, a reminder that even the most destructive forces could be overcome with determination and skill. The conflict also took a darker turn, revealing the depths of Set's cunning. In one myth, Set seduced Horus, only to steal his divine power in a moment of vulnerability. Horus, however, turned the tables by tricking Set into consuming a poisoned offering, weakening him and reclaiming his strength. These acts of deception and counter-deception highlight the complex nature of their struggle, where neither side held the moral high ground, and both were willing to use any means necessary to achieve victory. The final battle between Set and Horus was a culmination of all these trials, a fierce and prolonged fight that tested the limits of both gods. Horus, armed with the Eye of Horus, a symbol of protection and healing, faced Set in a duel that shook the heavens and the earth. Though Set's chaotic power was immense, Horus's resolve and connection to order ultimately prevailed. He struck Set down, reclaiming the throne of Egypt and restoring balance to the world. This myth isn't just a tale of divine conflict, it's a reflection of the eternal struggle between chaos and order. Set, with his unpredictable and destructive nature, represents the forces that threaten stability, while Horus embodies the resilience and determination needed to restore harmony. For the ancient Egyptians, this story was a reminder that chaos, though ever present, could be overcome through courage, wisdom, and unity. As we move forward, we'll explore how Set's chaotic nature extended beyond these battles, shaping his role in other myths and his influence on the natural world. But for now, let's take a moment to reflect on the enduring legacy of this epic conflict, a story that continues to resonate as a powerful symbol of the balance between chaos and order in our own lives. Now, as we shift our focus to the vast and unforgiving landscapes of ancient Egypt, we find Set's presence deeply intertwined with the desert, a place of extremes and unpredictability. The desert, with its scorching heat, endless sands, and relentless storms, became a natural symbol of Set's chaotic and destructive nature. For the ancient Egyptians, the desert was not just a physical space, it was a realm of danger, isolation, and raw power, perfectly mirroring the essence of Set himself. Set's association with the desert was more than symbolic. It was a reflection of his dominion over the forces of nature. In Egyptian mythology, Set was often depicted as the god of storms, capable of unleashing violent winds and sandstorms that could obliterate everything in their path. These storms were seen as manifestations of his chaotic energy, a reminder of his ability to disrupt and destroy. One myth tells of Set summoning a massive sandstorm to obscure the sun, plunging the land into darkness and chaos. This act not only demonstrated his control over the elements, but also reinforced his role as a force of disorder, challenging the stability of the natural world. The desert also represented the untamed and wild aspects of existence, qualities that Set embodied fully. Unlike the fertile Nile Valley, which symbolized life and abundance, the desert was a place of barrenness and death. Set's connection to this harsh environment highlighted his role as a god who thrived in the absence of order and harmony. In one myth, Set is said to have retreated to the desert after his defeat by Horus, using its vast emptiness as a refuge where he could regroup and plot his next move. This retreat into the wilderness underscored his resilience and his ability to thrive in the most inhospitable conditions. But Set's power over the desert wasn't just about destruction, it also had a protective aspect. In some myths, Set was believed to guard the borders of Egypt, using the desert as a natural barrier against invaders. His storms and sandstorms were seen as tools to repel enemies, ensuring the safety of the kingdom. This duality, being both a destroyer and a protector, further complicated Set's role in Egyptian mythology, showing that even chaos could serve a purpose in maintaining balance. The desert also played a key role in Set's interactions with other gods. In one story, Set lures Horus into the desert, using its treacherous terrain to gain the upper hand in their ongoing conflict. The harsh environment becomes a battlefield where Set's familiarity with the desert gives him an advantage. This myth not only highlights Set's cunning, but also reinforces the idea that the desert was his domain, a place where his chaotic nature could flourish. As we reflect on Set's association with the desert, it's clear that this connection was central to his identity as the god of chaos. The desert, with its extremes and unpredictability, served as a powerful metaphor for Set's destructive yet essential role in the cosmos. It reminds us that chaos, though often feared, is an integral part of the natural order, a force that can both threaten and protect, destroy and renew. With this understanding of Set's ties to the desert, we'll now turn our attention to another fascinating aspect of his mythology, his role as a protector of Ra, the sun god. This lesser-known myth reveals a surprising side of Set, one that contrasts sharply with his usual chaotic persona. But more on that in the next chapter of our journey through the myths of Set, the Egyptian god of chaos. Now, let's step into a lesser-known but fascinating chapter of Set's mythology, one that reveals a surprising side to the god of chaos. While Set is often portrayed as a force of destruction and disorder, there's a myth that flips this image on its head, showing him in an unexpected role as the protector of Ra, the sun god. This story not only challenges our understanding of Set, but also adds depth to his complex character. In Egyptian mythology, Ra's journey through the underworld each night was a perilous one. As the sun god traveled through the realm of darkness, he faced constant threats from Apophis, the serpent of chaos, who sought to devour him and plunge the world into eternal night. To ensure Ra's safe passage, the gods assigned powerful protectors to accompany him. Among these protectors was none other than Set, the very embodiment of chaos himself. At first glance, this seems contradictory. How could the god of chaos be trusted to defend against chaos? Yet, this myth highlights the duality of Set's nature, showing that even chaos can serve a greater purpose. Set's role as Ra's protector was no small task. Armed with his spear and his unmatched strength, Set stood guard against Apophis, engaging the serpent in fierce battles night after night. His chaotic energy, often seen as destructive, became a weapon against the forces of darkness. In this context, Set's unpredictability and ferocity were assets, allowing him to outwit and overpower Apophis. This myth paints Set not as a villain but as a necessary force in the cosmic balance, one who uses his chaotic power to maintain order. What makes this role even more intriguing is how it contrasts with Set's usual persona. While he's often depicted as a disruptor, here he becomes a defender, a guardian of the very cycle of life and light. This duality underscores the complexity of Set's character, reminding us that even the gods of chaos have their place in the grand design. It's a powerful reminder that chaos and order are not always opposites, they can coexist, each playing a vital role in the universe. This myth also sheds light on the ancient Egyptians' nuanced understanding of chaos. They recognized that chaos, while dangerous, could also be harnessed for protection and renewal. Set's ability to guard Ra demonstrates that even the most unpredictable forces can be channeled toward a greater good. It's a lesson that resonates beyond mythology, reminding us that balance often requires the interplay of opposing forces. As we reflect on Set's role as Ra's protector, we see a side of him that's often overlooked, a side that challenges our assumptions and invites us to rethink the nature of chaos itself. But Set's story doesn't end here. Next, we'll explore another intriguing myth that showcases his cunning and chaotic nature, the tale of Set and the hippopotamus. Stay tuned as we continue unraveling the mysteries of Set, the Egyptian god of chaos. Now, let's dive into another captivating myth that showcases Set's cunning and chaotic nature in a truly unexpected way. This time, we're exploring the tale of Set and the hippopotamus, a story that reveals just how far the god of chaos would go to challenge his enemies and assert his power. In this myth, Set transforms into a massive hippopotamus, a creature revered and feared in ancient Egypt for its strength and unpredictability. His target: Horus, the falcon-headed god of the sky and rightful heir to Osiris's throne. The conflict between Set and Horus was already legendary, but this particular episode takes their rivalry to a whole new level. By taking on the form of a hippopotamus, Set not only demonstrates his ability to shapeshift, but also his willingness to use brute force and cunning to achieve his goals. The story unfolds during one of their many confrontations, as Horus seeks to avenge his father's murder and reclaim his rightful place as king. Set, ever the trickster, uses his transformation to ambush Horus, attempting to drag him into the depths of the Nile. The battle is fierce and chaotic, with both gods using every ounce of their strength and wit to gain the upper hand. Set's choice of the hippopotamus is particularly symbolic. This animal, with its immense power and unpredictable behavior, perfectly embodies Set's chaotic nature. But Horus is no ordinary opponent. Armed with his harpoon and guided by his mother Isis's wisdom, he manages to wound Set, forcing him to retreat. Despite his defeat, Set's actions in this myth highlight his relentless determination and his ability to adapt to any situation. Even in the face of adversity, Set refuses to back down, using his chaotic energy to keep his enemies on their toes. What makes this myth so fascinating is how it reflects the duality of Set's character. On one hand, he's a force of destruction, willing to use any means necessary to achieve his goals. On the other, his cunning and resourcefulness show that chaos can be a tool, a way to challenge the status quo and keep the balance of power in flux. The ancient Egyptians understood that chaos, while dangerous, was also a necessary part of the natural order, a concept that Set embodies perfectly in this story. As we reflect on this myth, we see yet another layer of Set's complexity. His transformation into a hippopotamus isn't just a display of power. It's a reminder that even the most chaotic forces can be harnessed, redirected, and understood. But Set's story doesn't end here. Next, we'll explore another intriguing aspect of his mythology, his role in the creation of the world. Stay with us as we continue to unravel the mysteries of Set, the Egyptian god of chaos. Now, let's shift our focus to a lesser-known but equally fascinating aspect of Set's mythology, his role in the creation of the world. While Set is often portrayed as a god of chaos and destruction, his influence extends far beyond these traits. In fact, some myths suggest that Set's chaotic energy was a vital force in shaping the universe itself. According to ancient Egyptian cosmology, the world was born out of a primordial chaos known as the Nun, a vast, watery abyss that existed before creation. From this chaos, the first gods emerged, including Atum, who is often credited with bringing order to the universe. But what many don't realize is that Set played a crucial role in this process. His chaotic energy wasn't just a force of destruction. It was a necessary counterbalance to the order brought by other gods. Without Set's disruptive influence, the universe might have remained stagnant, unable to evolve or grow. In some versions of the creation myth, Set is depicted as a catalyst for change. His chaotic nature helped to break apart the static unity of the Nun, allowing the first gods to emerge and begin the process of creation. Think of it like this: if order is the foundation of the universe, then chaos is the spark that sets everything in motion. Set's energy ensured that the world wasn't just a static, unchanging place but a dynamic, ever-evolving one. This duality is a recurring theme in Egyptian mythology. Just as the desert which Set ruled over is both barren and full of potential, Set himself embodies the tension between destruction and renewal. His role in creation reminds us that chaos isn't inherently evil. It's a natural part of the cycle of life. Without chaos, there can be no growth, no change, and no progress. Interestingly, this idea aligns with the ancient Egyptian concept of Mat, or cosmic balance. Mat represents the harmony between order and chaos, and Set's presence in the creation myths underscores the importance of maintaining this balance. While gods like Atum and Ra brought light and order, Set's chaotic energy ensured that the universe remained dynamic and alive. As we explore Set's role in creation, we begin to see him in a new light. He's not just a god of storms and destruction, he's a fundamental force in the cosmos, a reminder that chaos and order are two sides of the same coin. This myth challenges us to rethink our understanding of Set and consider how his chaotic energy might have been essential to the very fabric of existence. But Set's story doesn't end here. Next, we'll delve into another intriguing myth, his association with the Red Land, and how it symbolizes his dominion over chaos and destruction. Stay with us as we continue to uncover the many layers of Set, the Egyptian god of chaos. Now, let's journey into the harsh, unforgiving landscape of the Red Land, a place where Set's chaotic power truly comes to life. The Red Land, or the desert, was more than just a barren expanse to the ancient Egyptians. It was a realm of extremes, a place of both danger and potential. And it was here that Set's connection to chaos and destruction became most evident. In Egyptian mythology, the Red Land stood in stark contrast to the fertile Black Land, which was nourished by the Nile and symbolized life, order, and prosperity. The desert, on the other hand, was a place of desolation where survival was a constant struggle. It was a land of scorching heat, shifting sands, and unpredictable storms, qualities that mirrored Set's own chaotic nature. Set's association with the Red Land wasn't just symbolic, it was deeply rooted in the realities of ancient Egyptian life. The desert was a place of both fear and fascination. It was where the sun god Ra battled the serpent Apophis each night, and where the forces of chaos threatened to overwhelm the order of the world. By claiming dominion over the Red Land, Set became the embodiment of these chaotic forces, a god who thrived in the very environment that others feared. But the Red Land wasn't just a place of destruction, it was also a place of transformation. The desert's harsh conditions forced those who entered it to adapt, to find strength in adversity, and to confront the unknown. In this way, Set's connection to the Red Land also symbolized the potential for renewal that comes from chaos. Just as the desert could strip away the old, it could also pave the way for something new. This duality is key to understanding Set's role in Egyptian mythology. While he was often seen as a god of destruction, his association with the Red Land reminds us that chaos can also be a source of change and growth. The desert, like Set, was a place of extremes, a place where life and death, order and chaos were constantly in tension. As we explore this myth, we begin to see how Set's dominion over the Red Land reflects his broader role in the cosmos. He wasn't just a god of storms and destruction. He was a force that challenged the status quo, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. And in doing so, he ensured that the world remained dynamic and alive, even in the face of chaos. Next, we'll uncover another layer of Set's complex mythology, his marriage to Nephthys, and how their union represents the delicate balance between chaos and order. Stay with us as we continue to unravel the mysteries of Set, the Egyptian god of chaos. Now, let's turn our attention to one of the most intriguing relationships in Egyptian mythology, the marriage between Set and Nephthys. This union is far more than a simple mythological pairing. It's a profound representation of the delicate balance between chaos and order, two forces that define the very fabric of the ancient Egyptian worldview. Nephthys, often overshadowed by her more famous sister Isis, was a goddess of mourning, protection, and the night. While Isis symbolized life and rebirth, Nephthys embodied the mysteries of death and transition. Her marriage to Set, the god of chaos, might seem like an unlikely match at first glance, but it's a union that reveals the interconnectedness of opposing forces in Egyptian mythology. Together, Set and Nephthys represent the duality that lies at the heart of existence. Set, with his chaotic and destructive energy, stands in contrast to Nephthys, who, despite her association with death, also offers comfort and protection. Their marriage symbolizes the idea that chaos and order are not enemies but partners, each necessary for the other to exist. Without chaos, there can be no order. Without destruction, there can be no renewal. This duality is further emphasized in the myth surrounding their relationship. While Set is often portrayed as a disruptive force, Nephthys is depicted as a stabilizing presence, one who tempers his chaotic nature. In some stories, she even acts as a mediator, helping to restore balance when Set's actions threaten to tip the scales too far toward disorder. But their union is not without its complexities. In some versions of the myth, Nephthys is said to have been unfaithful to Set, bearing a child with Osiris, her sister Isis's husband. This act of betrayal adds another layer of tension to their relationship, highlighting the unpredictable and often volatile nature of the forces they represent. Yet, even in this betrayal, there is a deeper meaning. It underscores the idea that chaos and order are not static but constantly shifting, always in flux. The marriage of Set and Nephthys also reflects the broader themes of Egyptian mythology, where opposites are not seen as conflicting but as complementary. Just as the desert and the Nile, life and death, or day and night are intertwined, so too are chaos and order. Their union reminds us that the world is not a place of absolutes but of balance, where opposing forces work together to create harmony. As we delve deeper into Set's mythology, we'll see how this balance plays out in other aspects of his story, particularly in his conflicts and alliances with other gods. But for now, the marriage of Set and Nephthys stands as a powerful reminder of the duality that defines not only Egyptian mythology but the very nature of existence itself. Next, we'll explore another fascinating aspect of Set's mythology, his association with the donkey, and how this animal became a symbol of his chaotic and unpredictable nature. Stay with us as we continue to uncover the many layers of Set, the Egyptian god of chaos. Now, shifting our focus to another intriguing aspect of Set's mythology, we come to his association with the donkey, a creature that became a powerful symbol of his chaotic and unpredictable nature. In ancient Egyptian culture, animals often held deep symbolic meanings, and the donkey was no exception. Known for its stubbornness, strength, and sometimes unruly behavior, the donkey perfectly embodied the traits that Set represented. Set's connection to the donkey is rooted in his role as a disruptor and a force of chaos. Just as the donkey was seen as an animal that could be both useful and troublesome, Set's actions often had a dual nature, sometimes destructive, yet at other times necessary for maintaining balance. The donkey's reputation for unpredictability mirrored Set's own chaotic energy, making it a fitting symbol for the god of storms and disorder. In some myths, Set is even depicted taking the form of a donkey, particularly during his conflicts with other gods. For instance, in the famous battles between Set and Horus, Set is said to have transformed into a donkey to challenge his nephew. This transformation not only highlights Set's cunning and adaptability, but also reinforces the idea that chaos can take many forms, often catching its opponents off guard. The donkey's association with Set also reflects the ancient Egyptians' complex relationship with this animal. While donkeys were valued for their ability to carry heavy loads and endure harsh conditions, they were also seen as creatures that could disrupt order if not properly managed. This duality mirrors Set's own role in the pantheon, a god who could bring both destruction and protection, depending on the circumstances. Interestingly, the donkey's symbolism extends beyond Set's mythology. In some Egyptian texts, the donkey is linked to the forces of darkness and the desert, further emphasizing its connection to chaos and the unknown. By aligning Set with this animal, the ancient Egyptians were able to convey the god's unpredictable and often fearsome nature in a way that was both vivid and relatable. As we explore Set's myths, it becomes clear that his association with the donkey is more than just a symbolic gesture. It's a reflection of his essential role in the cosmic balance. Just as the donkey's strength and stubbornness can be both a blessing and a challenge, Set's chaotic energy serves as a reminder that disorder is an integral part of the natural world. With this understanding of Set's connection to the donkey, we're ready to delve into another fascinating chapter of his story, his role in the afterlife and how his influence extended even into the realm of the dead. Stay with us as we continue to unravel the many layers of Set, the Egyptian god of chaos. Now, as we journey deeper into the realm of Set's mythology, we arrive at a fascinating and often overlooked aspect of his story, his role in the afterlife. While Set is primarily known as the god of chaos and storms, his influence extended far beyond the living world, reaching into the mysterious and sacred domain of the dead. In the ancient Egyptian belief system, the afterlife was a complex and carefully balanced realm, and Set played a significant part in maintaining its order, or at times disrupting it. One of the most intriguing myths about Set's role in the afterlife involves his participation in the judgment of the dead. In the Hall of Maat, where the hearts of the deceased were weighed against the feather of truth, Set was sometimes depicted as one of the gods overseeing this critical process. While his chaotic nature might seem at odds with the concept of judgment and balance, Set's presence served as a reminder that even in the afterlife, the forces of chaos and order were intertwined. His role here highlights the duality of his character. While he could bring destruction, he also had the power to protect and uphold cosmic justice. Set's interactions with other gods in the underworld further illustrate his complex nature. In some myths, he is shown aiding Osiris, his brother and the ruler of the afterlife, by defending the sun god Ra during his nightly journey through the underworld. This act of protection, though seemingly out of character for the god of chaos, underscores the idea that Set's energy was not purely destructive. Instead, it was a necessary force that helped maintain the balance between light and darkness, life and death. However, Set's presence in the afterlife was not always benevolent. In other stories, he is portrayed as a disruptive figure, challenging the order of the underworld and even clashing with Osiris and Horus. These conflicts reflect the ongoing struggle between chaos and order, a theme that runs deep in Egyptian mythology. Set's actions in the afterlife remind us that even in death, the battle between these opposing forces continues, shaping the fate of both the living and the dead. Interestingly, Set's role in the afterlife also ties back to his association with the desert and the unknown. Just as the desert was seen as a place of danger and transformation, the afterlife was a realm of mystery and transition. Set's ability to navigate these liminal spaces made him a powerful figure in both worlds, embodying the unpredictable and ever-changing nature of existence. As we explore Set's influence in the afterlife, it becomes clear that his role was as multifaceted as his character. Whether he was aiding the gods, challenging the status quo, or overseeing the judgment of the dead, Set's presence in the underworld was a testament to his enduring significance in Egyptian mythology. His actions remind us that chaos is not merely destructive, it is an essential part of the cosmic balance, shaping the world of the living and the dead alike. With this understanding of Set's role in the afterlife, we're ready to uncover another layer of his mythology, his connection to Apophis, the serpent of chaos, and how their intertwined stories reveal even more about the forces of destruction in ancient Egyptian belief. Stay with us as we continue to unravel the mysteries of Set, the god of chaos. Now, as we delve into the shadowy depths of Egyptian mythology, we encounter one of the most fearsome figures of chaos, Apophis, the serpent of destruction. This brings us to the intriguing connection between Set and Apophis, two forces of chaos that, while distinct, share a deep and symbolic relationship in the ancient Egyptian worldview. Apophis, often depicted as a massive serpent, was the embodiment of chaos and disorder, constantly threatening to devour the sun god Ra and plunge the world into eternal darkness. Every night, as Ra journeyed through the underworld in his solar bark, Apophis would rise to challenge him, seeking to disrupt the natural order of the cosmos. It was here that Set's role became crucial. In some myths, Set was tasked with defending Ra against Apophis, using his chaotic energy to combat the serpent's destructive force. This alliance between Set and Ra might seem surprising, given Set's reputation as a god of chaos, but it underscores the complexity of his character. Set's ability to harness chaos for protection highlights the idea that chaos itself is not inherently evil. It is a force that can be wielded for both destruction and preservation. The connection between Set and Apophis goes even deeper, as both figures represent the primal forces of chaos that the ancient Egyptians believed were necessary for maintaining balance in the universe. While Apophis symbolized the ultimate threat to order, Set embodied the unpredictable and ever-present nature of chaos in the world. Together, they remind us that chaos is not something to be eradicated, but rather a fundamental part of existence, constantly challenging and reshaping the boundaries of order. Interestingly, Set's battles against Apophis also reflect his own internal struggle. Just as he fought to protect Ra from the serpent, Set himself was often at odds with the forces of order, including his brother Osiris and nephew Horus. This duality, being both a defender against chaos and a source of it, reveals the intricate layers of Set's mythology. He is not simply a villain or a hero, but a complex figure who embodies the tension between creation and destruction, light and darkness. The myth of Set and Apophis also serves as a powerful metaphor for the human experience. Just as Ra must navigate the dangers of the underworld each night, we too must confront the chaos in our own lives. Set's role in this story reminds us that chaos is not something to be feared, but rather a force that can be harnessed, understood, and even transformed. As we explore this myth, it becomes clear that Set and Apophis are two sides of the same coin, both representing the ever-present threat of chaos, yet also its potential for renewal and change. Their intertwined stories offer a profound insight into the ancient Egyptian understanding of the universe, where chaos and order are not opposites but complementary forces that shape the world. With this deeper understanding of Set's connection to Apophis, we're ready to uncover another fascinating aspect of his mythology, his transformation into a monstrous typhonic creature. Stay with us as we continue to unravel the mysteries of Set, the god of chaos. Now, as we shift our focus, let's uncover one of the most striking and fearsome aspects of Set's mythology, his transformation into a monstrous typhonic beast. This myth not only highlights his chaotic and destructive power, but also reveals the deeper symbolism behind his ability to take on such terrifying forms. In ancient Egyptian mythology, Set was often depicted as a creature unlike any other, a hybrid being with the body of a man and the head of an unknown animal, sometimes described as a mix of a jackal, an aardvark, and other wild beasts. However, in certain myths, Set takes on an even more terrifying form, transforming into a typhonic beast, a monstrous, otherworldly creature that embodies the raw, untamed forces of chaos. This transformation is not just a physical change but a manifestation of his inner nature, a visual representation of his role as the god of storms, deserts, and destruction. The typhonic beast is often described as a creature of immense power with features that evoke fear and awe. Its appearance is chaotic and unpredictable, much like the storms and natural disasters that Set was believed to control. This form symbolizes the uncontrollable and destructive aspects of chaos, reminding us that Set's power was not just about causing harm, but also about challenging the boundaries of order and stability. Interestingly, Set's transformation into this monstrous form is not always portrayed as purely negative. In some myths, his typhonic nature is seen as a necessary force in the cosmic balance. Just as storms can bring destruction but also renewal, Set's chaotic energy is depicted as a vital part of the natural cycle. His ability to transform into such a beast underscores his dual role as both a destroyer and a protector, a god who could wield chaos for both harm and good. This myth also reflects the ancient Egyptian understanding of the world as a place where chaos and order are constantly in tension. Set's typhonic form serves as a reminder that chaos is not something to be eradicated but rather a force that must be acknowledged and managed. His transformation into this monstrous creature is a powerful symbol of the unpredictable and ever-present nature of chaos in the universe. As we explore this myth, it becomes clear that Set's typhonic form is more than just a symbol of destruction. It is a representation of the primal, untamed energy that lies at the heart of existence. His ability to take on such a fearsome shape reminds us of the complexity of his character and the vital role he played in the ancient Egyptian worldview. With this understanding of Set's transformation, we're ready to delve into another fascinating aspect of his mythology, his role in the myth of the solar bark. Stay with us as we continue to unravel the mysteries of Set, the god of chaos. Now, let's turn our attention to one of the most dramatic and symbolic myths involving Set, his attack on the solar bark of Ra. This story not only showcases Set's relentless challenge to order and stability, but also highlights the eternal struggle between chaos and the divine balance of the universe. In ancient Egyptian mythology, the solar bark, or sun boat, was the vessel that carried the sun god Ra across the sky during the day and through the treacherous underworld at night. This journey was essential for maintaining the cycle of day and night, life and death, and the overall order of the cosmos. However, Set, ever the embodiment of chaos, saw an opportunity to disrupt this delicate balance. According to the myth, Set launched an attack on the solar bark as it traveled through the underworld. This was no ordinary assault. It was a direct challenge to Ra's authority and the stability of the universe itself. Set's goal was to prevent the sun from rising again, plunging the world into eternal darkness and chaos. His attack was fierce and unrelenting, reflecting his nature as a force of disruption and disorder. But why would Set target the solar bark? The answer lies in the deeper symbolism of this myth. The solar bark represents the ultimate symbol of order and cosmic harmony. By attacking it, Set was not just challenging Ra, but also the very principles of stability and balance that held the universe together. This act underscores Set's role as a necessary counterbalance to order, a reminder that chaos is an inescapable part of existence. Interestingly, Set's attack on the solar bark was not entirely successful. In many versions of the myth, Ra and his allies, including other gods like Horus and Thoth, managed to repel Set's assault and ensure the sun's safe passage. This outcome reflects the ancient Egyptian belief that while chaos is a constant threat, it can be managed and overcome through vigilance and divine intervention. The myth of Set and the solar bark also serves as a powerful metaphor for the cyclical nature of chaos and order. Just as the sun rises and sets each day, the forces of chaos and stability are in a perpetual dance, each one necessary for the other to exist. Set's attack on the solar bark reminds us that chaos is not inherently evil, but rather a natural and essential part of the cosmic order. As we reflect on this myth, it becomes clear that Set's actions were not merely acts of destruction, but also opportunities for renewal and reaffirmation of the universe's balance. His challenge to Ra's solar bark is a testament to the complexity of his role in Egyptian mythology, a god who could disrupt and restore, destroy and protect. With this understanding of Set's attack on the solar bark, we're ready to explore another intriguing aspect of his mythology, his role among the Aeneid, the 9 primary gods of Heliopolis. Stay with us as we continue to uncover the many layers of Set, the god of chaos. Now, let's shift our focus to Set's unique position within the Aeneid, the group of 9 primary gods worshipped in the ancient city of Heliopolis. The Aeneid represented the core of Egyptian mythology, embodying the forces that shaped the universe and maintained its balance. Among these powerful deities, Set stood out as a figure of both awe and unease, his chaotic nature making him a stark contrast to the other gods. The Aeneid included some of the most revered figures in Egyptian mythology, such as Atum, the creator god, Shu and Tefnut, the deities of air and moisture, Geb and Nut, the earth and sky, and Osiris, Isis, and Nephthys, who represented life, magic, and death. Each of these gods played a vital role in maintaining cosmic order, but Set's inclusion in this group was far more complex. While the others symbolized creation, stability, and harmony, Set embodied the unpredictable and often destructive forces of chaos. Set's place in the Aeneid was not just a reflection of his power, but also a recognition of chaos as an essential part of existence. The ancient Egyptians understood that order could not exist without chaos, just as light needs darkness and life requires death. Set's role was to challenge the status quo, to disrupt and test the boundaries of stability, ensuring that the universe remained dynamic and balanced. This duality made him both a necessary and feared member of the Aeneid. What truly set Set apart from the other gods was his willingness to confront and even oppose them. While the Aeneid worked together to uphold Maat, the principle of cosmic order, Set often acted as a counterforce, pushing against the very balance the other gods sought to maintain. His conflicts with Osiris and Horus, for example, were not just personal vendettas but symbolic battles between chaos and order. These struggles highlighted Set's unique position as a god who could both threaten and reinforce the stability of the universe. Despite his disruptive nature, Set was not entirely an outsider among the Aeneid. In some myths, he was even seen as a protector, particularly in his role defending Ra's solar bark from the serpent Apophis. This duality, being both a destroyer and a defender, underscored the complexity of his character. The ancient Egyptians recognized that chaos, when properly managed, could serve a greater purpose, and Set's inclusion in the Aeneid reflected this nuanced understanding. Set's presence among the Aeneid also served as a reminder of the fragility of order. While the other gods worked tirelessly to maintain balance, Set's actions often revealed how easily that balance could be disrupted. His role was not to destroy the universe but to challenge it, forcing the gods and humanity alike to confront the ever-present threat of chaos. In this way, Set was both a destabilizing force and a catalyst for renewal, ensuring that the cosmic order remained resilient and adaptable. As we explore Set's role in the Aeneid, it becomes clear that his chaotic nature was not a flaw but a vital aspect of his identity. He was the wild card among the gods, the one who kept the universe from becoming stagnant. His inclusion in the Aeneid was a testament to the ancient Egyptians' profound understanding of the interplay between order and chaos, a theme that resonates even in our modern world. With this deeper understanding of Set's place among the Aeneid, we're ready to uncover another fascinating myth, this time exploring his connection to the ostrich, a creature that became a symbol of his unpredictable and chaotic behavior. Stay with us as we continue to unravel the many layers of Set, the god of chaos. Now, let's turn our attention to one of the more unusual symbols associated with Set the ostrich. This large, flightless bird might seem like an odd choice to represent a god of chaos, but in the context of Egyptian mythology, the ostrich perfectly encapsulated Set's unpredictable and disruptive nature. The ancient Egyptians observed the ostrich's behavior and saw in it a reflection of Set's chaotic essence. Ostriches were known for their speed, their erratic movements, and their tendency to run in unpredictable patterns, much like the storms and desert winds that Set was said to control. These traits made the ostrich a fitting emblem for a god who thrived on disorder and unpredictability. In some myths, Set was even depicted wearing ostrich feathers or carrying them as part of his regalia. These feathers were not just decorative, they carried deep symbolic meaning. In Egyptian culture, feathers were often associated with truth and justice, as seen in the weighing of the heart ceremony in the afterlife. But Set's ostrich feathers represented something entirely different. They symbolized the wild, untamed forces of nature that Set embodied. Unlike the orderly and balanced mat represented by the feather of truth, Set's ostrich feathers were a reminder of the chaos that could disrupt even the most stable systems. The connection between Set and the ostrich also extended to the bird's habitat. Ostriches thrived in the harsh, arid landscapes of the desert, a domain that Set ruled over. The desert was a place of extremes, where life was fragile and survival required adaptability. Just as the ostrich navigated this unforgiving environment with its speed and resourcefulness, Set thrived in the chaos of the desert, using its unpredictability to his advantage. This parallel further solidified the ostrich as a symbol of Set's chaotic power. Interestingly, the ostrich's behavior also mirrored Set's role as a trickster and a challenger of norms. Ostriches were known to confuse and outmaneuver their predators, much like Set used cunning and deception in his conflicts with other gods. For example, in his battles with Horus, Set often relied on clever tactics rather than brute strength, embodying the same unpredictable and strategic nature as the ostrich. This connection highlights how the ancient Egyptians saw Set not just as a force of destruction, but as a complex figure who used chaos as a tool to challenge and reshape the world around him. The myth of Set and the ostrich serves as a fascinating example of how the ancient Egyptians used the natural world to explain the divine. By associating Set with the ostrich, they captured the essence of his chaotic and unpredictable nature in a way that was both vivid and relatable. This myth reminds us that chaos, while often feared, is also a source of creativity and transformation. Just as the ostrich's erratic movements could lead it to safety, Set's disruptions could ultimately lead to renewal and change. As we move forward, we'll explore another intriguing aspect of Set's mythology, his rivalry with Thoth, the god of wisdom. This conflict between chaos and knowledge offers yet another layer to understanding Set's complex role in Egyptian mythology. Stay with us as we continue to uncover the many dimensions of Set, the god of chaos. Now, let's shift our focus to another fascinating chapter in Set's story, his rivalry with Thoth, the god of wisdom. This conflict between chaos and knowledge offers a unique perspective on Set's role in Egyptian mythology and the delicate balance between opposing forces. Thoth, often depicted as a figure of intellect, writing, and magic, represented order, logic, and the pursuit of understanding. In contrast, Set embodied chaos, disruption, and the unpredictable forces of nature. Their clashes were not just personal but symbolic, reflecting the eternal struggle between the structured world of knowledge and the untamed realm of chaos. One of the most notable myths involving Set and Thoth revolves around the contest for control over the moon. In this tale, Set, ever the disruptor, sought to challenge Thoth's dominion over the lunar cycles, which were closely tied to timekeeping, magic, and the rhythms of life. Set's chaotic nature led him to interfere with the moon's phases, causing confusion and disorder in the natural world. Thoth, as the guardian of wisdom and cosmic balance, stepped in to restore order. Through his intellect and mastery of magic, Thoth managed to outmaneuver Set, ensuring the moon cycles remained consistent and predictable. This myth highlights the tension between Set's desire to disrupt and Thoth's role as a stabilizer, emphasizing the necessity of both forces in maintaining the universe's equilibrium. Another layer to their rivalry can be seen in the myth of the contendings of Horus and Set, where Thoth played a crucial role as a mediator. During the prolonged conflict between Horus and Set over the throne of Egypt, Thoth often intervened to ensure fairness and justice. His wisdom and impartiality were essential in navigating the chaos that Set's actions created. Thoth's ability to reason and negotiate stood in stark contrast to Set's impulsive and destructive tendencies, showcasing the dynamic interplay between knowledge and chaos. This myth underscores how Thoth's presence was vital in tempering Set's disruptive influence, ensuring that chaos did not overwhelm the world entirely. Interestingly, Set's conflicts with Thoth also reveal a deeper philosophical theme in Egyptian mythology: the idea that chaos and knowledge are not entirely opposed but interconnected. While Set's actions often brought disorder, they also forced the gods and the world to adapt, innovate, and grow. Thoth's wisdom, in turn, provided the tools to navigate and make sense of that chaos. Together, their interactions illustrate how chaos can be a catalyst for learning and transformation, while knowledge serves as a guide to restore balance. The rivalry between Set and Thoth also extended to their roles in the afterlife. Thoth was a key figure in the judgment of the dead, recording the outcomes of the weighing of the heart ceremony. Set, on the other hand, was sometimes seen as a challenger to the orderly processes of the afterlife, testing the souls of the deceased and ensuring that only the worthy could pass into the realm of Osiris. This duality further emphasizes the complementary nature of their roles: Thoth as the keeper of order and Set as the force that tests and refines it. As we reflect on Set's conflicts with Thoth, we see a recurring theme in Egyptian mythology: the necessity of balance. Chaos and knowledge, destruction and creation, disruption and order. These opposing forces are not enemies but partners in the grand tapestry of existence. Set's rivalry with Thoth reminds us that chaos, while often unsettling, can also be a source of growth and renewal, while knowledge provides the means to navigate and understand the world's complexities. With this understanding, we'll now turn our attention to another intriguing aspect of Set's mythology: his association with the red crown of Lower Egypt. This symbol of power and dominion offers yet another layer to the multifaceted nature of Set, the god of chaos. Stay with us as we continue to unravel the mysteries of this enigmatic deity. Now, let's explore another captivating chapter in Set's story: his connection to the red crown of Lower Egypt. This powerful symbol, known as the Deseret, was more than just a piece of royal regalia. It represented authority, sovereignty, and the unification of Egypt. But when Set is depicted wearing the red crown, it takes on a deeper, more complex meaning, reflecting his dominion over chaos and destruction. In Egyptian mythology, the red crown was traditionally associated with the rulers of Lower Egypt, the northern region of the country. It symbolized their power and their role as protectors of order and stability. However, Set's association with the crown adds a layer of contradiction. As the god of chaos, storms, and the desert, Set was often seen as a force of disruption rather than order. Yet, his wearing of the red crown suggests a duality, a recognition that even chaos has its place in the balance of the universe. One myth tells of Set claiming the red crown during a time of upheaval, when the natural order of the world was threatened. By donning the crown, Set asserted his authority over the forces of chaos, positioning himself as a necessary counterbalance to the stability represented by other gods like Horus and Osiris. This act wasn't just about power, it was a reminder that chaos, while destructive, is also a fundamental part of creation. Without chaos, there can be no change, no growth, and no renewal. The red crown also symbolizes Set's connection to the desert, a harsh and unforgiving landscape that was both feared and respected by the ancient Egyptians. The desert was seen as a place of danger and disorder, but it was also a source of strength and resilience. In wearing the red crown, Set embodied these qualities, representing the untamed and unpredictable aspects of the natural world. His dominion over the desert and its storms further reinforced his role as a god who could both destroy and protect. Interestingly, Set's association with the red crown also highlights his role in the unification of Egypt. According to some myths, Set's chaotic energy was instrumental in bringing together the disparate regions of Upper and Lower Egypt. While his methods were often violent and disruptive, the end result was a stronger, more unified kingdom. This duality, chaos leading to unity, shows how Set's influence was not purely destructive but also transformative. The myth of Set and the Red Crown serves as a powerful reminder of the complexity of Egyptian mythology. It challenges us to see chaos not as an enemy but as a necessary force that shapes the world. Set's wearing of the crown symbolizes his dominion over destruction, but it also underscores his role in maintaining the delicate balance between order and disorder. As we continue to unravel the mysteries of Set, we'll next delve into his involvement in the myth of the distant goddess, where his chaotic nature takes center stage once again. Stay with us as we uncover more about this enigmatic god and his enduring legacy. Now, let's turn our attention to another fascinating chapter in Set's story, his role in the myth of the distant goddess. This tale is one of the most intriguing in Egyptian mythology, showcasing Set's chaotic and unpredictable nature in a way that both challenges and captivates. The distant goddess, often identified as the Eye of Ra, represents a powerful and independent force embodying both creation and destruction. Her story is one of departure and return, and Set plays a pivotal role in this cosmic drama. According to the myth, the distant goddess becomes angered and flees from Ra, the sun god, leaving Egypt in a state of turmoil. Her absence causes the land to suffer, as her divine energy is essential for maintaining balance and prosperity. Ra, desperate to restore order, sends several gods to retrieve her, but none succeed. It is Set, with his cunning and chaotic energy, who ultimately steps forward to bring her back. His involvement in this myth is significant, as it highlights his unique ability to navigate and manipulate disorder. Set's approach to retrieving the distant goddess is anything but straightforward. He doesn't rely on brute force or traditional methods. Instead, he uses his chaotic nature to outwit and outmaneuver her. In some versions of the myth, Set transforms into a fearsome creature, using his unpredictable behavior to confront and subdue the goddess. In others, he employs clever tactics, appealing to her pride and independence to coax her back to Egypt. This duality, his ability to both challenge and persuade, shows how Set's chaotic energy can be both destructive and constructive, depending on the situation. The myth also underscores Set's role as a mediator between order and chaos. While his actions are often disruptive, they are sometimes necessary to restore balance. By retrieving the distant goddess, Set helps to bring stability back to Egypt, proving that even chaos can serve a greater purpose. This idea is central to understanding Set's complex character. He is not merely a force of destruction, but a necessary counterbalance in the cosmic order. Interestingly, the myth of the distant goddess also reflects Set's connection to the natural world. Just as the goddess's departure causes the land to wither, Set's chaotic energy is often associated with the harsh and unpredictable forces of nature, such as storms and the desert. His ability to navigate these forces and restore balance mirrors the cycles of nature, where destruction often leads to renewal. This connection further emphasizes Set's role as a god who embodies the untamed and uncontrollable aspects of existence. As we explore Set's involvement in this myth, it becomes clear that his chaotic nature is not just a source of fear, but also a tool for transformation. His actions, while unpredictable, often lead to unexpected outcomes that shape the world in profound ways. The myth of the distant goddess serves as a powerful reminder of Set's dual nature, his capacity for both destruction and restoration, chaos and order. With this in mind, we'll next delve into the myth of Set and the scorpion, where his dangerous and unpredictable power takes on a new form. Stay with us as we continue to unravel the mysteries of this enigmatic god. Now, let's venture into another captivating chapter of Set's story, the myth of Set and the scorpion. This tale reveals yet another layer of Set's chaotic and dangerous nature, as he becomes closely linked to one of the most feared creatures in ancient Egyptian symbolism. The scorpion, with its venomous sting and unpredictable behavior, serves as a perfect representation of Set's destructive power and his ability to strike without warning. In this myth, Set is often depicted as taking on the form of a scorpion or commanding these creatures to carry out his will. The scorpion's deadly nature mirrors Set's own capacity for sudden and devastating acts of chaos. Just as a scorpion can deliver a fatal sting, Set's actions often bring about unexpected and far-reaching consequences. This connection between Set and the scorpion highlights his role as a god who embodies the darker, more dangerous aspects of existence. One of the most well-known versions of this myth involves Set using scorpions to challenge his enemies or disrupt the natural order. In some stories, he sends scorpions to attack those who oppose him, using their venom as a weapon of chaos. In others, he transforms into a giant scorpion himself, becoming a terrifying force of destruction. These tales emphasize Set's ability to harness the raw, untamed energy of the natural world, turning it into a tool for his own purposes. But the myth of Set and the scorpion isn't just about destruction, it also reveals the dual nature of chaos. Just as a scorpion's sting can be deadly, it can also serve as a reminder of the delicate balance between life and death. In some interpretations, Set's association with scorpions symbolizes the necessity of chaos in maintaining the cosmic order. Without the threat of destruction, the world would lack the tension needed for growth and renewal. This idea aligns with Set's broader role in Egyptian mythology, where he often acts as a counterbalance to the forces of order and stability. The scorpion's symbolism also ties into Set's connection to the desert, a harsh and unforgiving landscape where these creatures thrive. Just as the desert is a place of both danger and opportunity, Set's chaotic energy can be both destructive and transformative. The myth of Set and the scorpion serves as a powerful reminder of his complex character, a god who embodies the unpredictable and often terrifying forces of nature. As we reflect on this myth, it becomes clear that Set's association with the scorpion is more than just a symbol of danger. It's a testament to his role as a god who challenges the status quo and forces us to confront the darker aspects of existence. With this in mind, we'll next explore Set's role in the myth of the heavenly cow, where his actions once again shape the balance between chaos and order. Stay with us as we continue to uncover the many facets of this enigmatic deity. Now, let's turn our attention to one of the most fascinating and lesser-known myths involving Set, the myth of the heavenly cow. This story offers a unique perspective on Set's role in the cosmic balance, showcasing how his chaotic actions can sometimes serve a greater purpose in maintaining order. In this myth, the sun god Ra grows weary of humanity's rebellion and decides to withdraw from the world, ascending to the heavens on the back of a celestial cow known as the heavenly cow. As Ra distances himself, the world plunges into darkness and disorder. It is here that Set steps in, not as a destroyer but as a necessary force of chaos. Set's actions in this myth are pivotal, as he helps to restore balance by challenging the status quo and forcing the gods to confront the consequences of their decisions. Set's role in this myth is complex. On one hand, his chaotic nature disrupts the fragile harmony of the world, but on the other, his actions ultimately lead to a resolution that benefits both gods and humans. By creating turmoil, Set forces Ra to reconsider his withdrawal and take steps to restore light and order to the world. This duality highlights Set's importance as a god who embodies the tension between chaos and order, showing that even his destructive tendencies can serve a greater purpose. The myth of the heavenly cow also underscores Set's connection to the natural world and its cycles. Just as chaos is a necessary part of life, Set's actions remind us that disruption can lead to renewal. Without his intervention, the world might have remained in darkness, unable to move forward. This idea aligns with Set's broader role in Egyptian mythology, where he often acts as a catalyst for change, pushing the boundaries of what is possible and challenging the gods to adapt. As we explore this myth, it becomes clear that Set's role is not simply to cause destruction, but to provoke transformation. His actions in the myth of the heavenly cow reveal a deeper truth about the nature of chaos. It is not always an enemy of order, but sometimes a necessary force that drives progress and renewal. With this in mind, we'll next delve into the myth of Set and the storm, where his control over natural forces once again takes center stage. Stay with us as we continue to unravel the many layers of this enigmatic god. Now, shifting our focus to the skies, we encounter another striking aspect of Set's mythology, his mastery over storms. This myth not only highlights his chaotic and destructive nature, but also reveals how his power over natural forces embodies the unpredictable and often terrifying aspects of the world. In this myth, Set is depicted as the god who commands the winds, rains, and thunder, unleashing storms that bring both destruction and renewal. Ancient Egyptians saw storms as a manifestation of chaos, and Set's ability to control them reinforced his role as a god who could disrupt the natural order at will. When Set stirs the skies, the world trembles, and the balance between order and chaos is tested. His storms are not just random acts of destruction, they are deliberate displays of his power, reminding both gods and humans of his presence and influence. The myth of Set and the storm also ties into his broader symbolism as a god of the desert. Just as the desert is a harsh, unforgiving landscape, storms represent the raw, untamed energy of nature. Set's control over these forces underscores his connection to the wild and uncontrollable aspects of the world. In this way, storms become a metaphor for Set's chaotic essence, unpredictable, powerful, and capable of reshaping the world in an instant. But there's more to this myth than just destruction. Like many of Set's stories, the myth of the storm carries a dual meaning. While storms can bring devastation, they also bring life-giving rain, essential for the fertility of the land. This duality reflects Set's complex role in Egyptian mythology, where his actions, though often destructive, can also lead to renewal and transformation. By controlling storms, Set becomes a force of both chaos and regeneration, embodying the cyclical nature of life and the world. As we reflect on this myth, it's clear that Set's power over storms is more than just a symbol of destruction. It's a reminder of the delicate balance between chaos and order. His storms challenge the stability of the world, but they also pave the way for new beginnings. With this in mind, we'll next explore Set's role in the myth of the contendings of Horus and Set, where his relentless nature takes center stage once again. Stay with us as we continue to uncover the many layers of this enigmatic god. Now, as we turn our attention to one of the most dramatic and enduring conflicts in Egyptian mythology, we find ourselves at the heart of the contendings of Horus and Set. This myth is not just a tale of rivalry, but a profound exploration of the struggle between order and chaos, with Set playing a central role as the embodiment of relentless disruption. The contendings of Horus and Set is a story of power, betrayal, and divine justice. At its core, it revolves around the battle for the throne of Egypt following the death of Osiris. Horus, the son of Osiris, claims the throne as his rightful inheritance, but Set, his uncle, fiercely contests this, arguing that he is the stronger and more capable ruler. What follows is a series of trials, battles, and cunning schemes, each one showcasing Set's chaotic and unpredictable nature. Set's tactics in this myth are as varied as they are ruthless. From transforming into a fearsome beast to challenging Horus in physical combat, Set employs every trick in his arsenal to assert his dominance. One particularly striking episode involves Set attempting to humiliate Horus by seducing him, only to have his plan backfire when Horus outsmarts him. These moments highlight Set's willingness to cross any boundary, moral or otherwise, to achieve his goals. His actions are not just chaotic, they are calculated to destabilize and undermine his opponent at every turn. Yet, despite his cunning and strength, Set's chaotic nature ultimately becomes his downfall. The gods, weary of his relentless scheming, eventually side with Horus, recognizing the need for order and stability. This decision marks a turning point in the myth, as Set's chaotic energy, while powerful, proves incompatible with the harmony the gods seek to restore. What makes this myth so compelling is its exploration of duality. Set's relentless pursuit of power and his refusal to accept defeat reflect his chaotic essence, but they also reveal the necessity of his role in the cosmic balance. Without chaos, there can be no order. Without Set's challenges, Horus's triumph would lack meaning. The contendings of Horus and Set remind us that chaos is not merely destructive. It is a force that tests and shapes the world, pushing it toward renewal and transformation. As we move forward, we'll delve into the final chapter of Set's story, the myth of his banishment. This act, which symbolizes the triumph of order over chaos, brings us to the conclusion of our exploration of Set's myths. Stay with us as we uncover how this enigmatic god's legacy continues to resonate, even in his exile. Now, as we reach the final chapter of Set's tumultuous journey, we encounter the myth of his banishment, a moment that marks the ultimate triumph of order over chaos. This myth is not just the end of Set's reign of disruption, but also a powerful symbol of the delicate balance that governs the universe. The story begins with the gods, exhausted by Set's relentless chaos and the turmoil he has brought to the divine order. Despite his cunning and strength, Set's actions have pushed the boundaries too far, and the gods can no longer tolerate his destructive influence. In a decisive moment, they come together to pass judgment on Set, recognizing that his presence threatens the stability of the cosmos. Set's banishment is not a simple act of punishment, it is a necessary step to restore harmony. The gods decree that Set must be exiled to the edges of the known world, far from the realms of order and civilization. This act is symbolic, representing the containment of chaos within the boundaries of the desert and the wilderness, places where Set's chaotic energy can exist without disrupting the balance of the world. Yet, even in his exile, Set's role in the cosmic order remains significant. His banishment does not erase his influence, but rather confines it to a space where it can no longer threaten the stability of the gods and the world they govern. This myth underscores the idea that chaos, while dangerous, is an essential part of existence. Without it, the world would lack the tension and dynamism that drive growth and transformation. The myth of Set's banishment also serves as a reminder of the cyclical nature of chaos and order. While Set is exiled, his presence lingers, a constant reminder that chaos can never be fully eradicated. It is a force that must be managed, contained, and sometimes even embraced, as it plays a vital role in the ongoing process of creation and renewal. As we reflect on Set's banishment, we see how this myth encapsulates the broader themes of Egyptian mythology. The interplay between opposing forces, the necessity of balance, and the enduring struggle between order and chaos. Set's story, though marked by conflict and exile, leaves us with a profound understanding of the complexities of the universe and the gods who shape it. With this, we conclude our exploration of Set's myths, but his legacy continues to echo through the ages. Stay with us as we delve into how Set's enigmatic presence has influenced modern culture and art, shaping our understanding of chaos and its place in the world. Now, as we step into the realm of modern culture, we find that Set's legacy as the god of chaos continues to captivate and inspire. His enigmatic presence has transcended ancient mythology, weaving its way into literature, movies, and pop culture, where he remains a powerful symbol of disruption and unpredictability. In literature, Set's influence can be seen in characters who embody chaos and rebellion. Authors often draw on his dual nature, both destructive and necessary, to create complex antagonists who challenge the status quo. For instance, in fantasy novels, figures who disrupt order and bring about change often echo Set's chaotic energy, reminding readers that even the most unsettling forces can drive transformation and growth. Movies, too, have embraced Set's mythos, particularly in genres that explore themes of conflict and balance. From epic battles between good and evil to stories of redemption and renewal, filmmakers have used Set's archetype to craft compelling narratives. His role as a disruptor of order resonates with audiences, making him a fitting inspiration for characters who embody the tension between chaos and stability. Pop culture has also found a place for Set, with his imagery and symbolism appearing in video games, graphic novels, and even fashion. His association with storms, deserts, and untamed forces has made him a popular figure in media that celebrates the wild and unpredictable. Whether as a villain or a misunderstood antihero, Set's enduring appeal lies in his ability to represent the chaos that exists within us all, a force that can destroy but also create. What makes Set's legacy so fascinating is how it reflects our own relationship with chaos. In a world that often seeks order and control, Set reminds us that chaos is not something to be feared but understood. His myths encourage us to embrace the unpredictable, to find meaning in disruption, and to recognize that balance is not the absence of chaos but the harmony between opposing forces. As we explore Set's influence in modern culture, it becomes clear that his story is far from over. His myths continue to inspire, challenge, and provoke thought, proving that the god of chaos is as relevant today as he was in ancient Egypt. Stay with us as we uncover how Set's symbolism has been immortalized in art, offering a visual testament to his enduring power and complexity. Now, shifting our focus to the visual realm, let's explore how Set's chaotic essence was captured in the art of ancient Egypt. Set's depictions in art are as complex and multifaceted as the god himself, offering a fascinating glimpse into how the ancient Egyptians viewed chaos and its role in their world. In ancient Egyptian art, Set was often portrayed in a unique and striking form, a creature known as the Set animal. This mysterious beast, with its curved snout, squared ears, and forked tail, doesn't resemble any known animal, which only adds to Set's enigmatic nature. The Set animal became a powerful symbol of his chaotic energy, embodying the untamed and unpredictable forces he represented. But Set's imagery wasn't limited to this one form. He was also frequently depicted as a man with the head of the Set animal, blending human and animal traits to emphasize his dual nature. This hybrid form served as a reminder that chaos is not an external force but something deeply intertwined with humanity. In some artworks, Set is shown wielding a scepter, a symbol of power and authority, further highlighting his role as both a destroyer and a protector. Color played a significant role in Set's artistic representations as well. He was often associated with red, the color of the desert and the fierce storms he controlled. Red symbolized danger, destruction, and the harshness of the natural world, all of which were central to Set's identity. In contrast, his brother Osiris was linked to green, the color of life and fertility, creating a visual dichotomy between order and chaos. Set's presence in art wasn't just about his physical form. It also reflected his symbolic role in Egyptian mythology. Scenes of Set battling Horus, for example, were common in temple reliefs and tomb paintings. These depictions weren't just about the conflict itself, but about the eternal struggle between chaos and order, a theme that resonated deeply with the ancient Egyptians. Interestingly, Set's art also evolved over time. During certain periods, he was celebrated as a protector of Ra, the sun god, and depicted standing on the prow of the solar bark, defending it from the serpent Apophis. This shift in imagery shows how Set's role was reinterpreted, reflecting the changing attitudes toward chaos and its place in the cosmos. Through these artistic representations, Set's chaotic nature was immortalized, offering a visual language for understanding his myths and their significance. His depictions remind us that chaos, though often feared, is an essential part of the balance that defines existence. As we move forward, we'll delve into how Set's influence extended beyond art and into the rituals and ceremonies of ancient Egypt, revealing even more about his enduring legacy. Now, let's step into the world of ancient Egyptian rituals, where Set's influence was both profound and paradoxical. While Set was often seen as a force of chaos and destruction, he was also deeply woven into the spiritual practices of the Egyptians, who sought to both honor and appease his unpredictable nature. In many rituals, Set was invoked as a protector, particularly in times of turmoil or uncertainty. For example, during storms or natural disasters, offerings were made to Set in hopes of calming his chaotic energy. These offerings often included red-colored items such as red wine or red cloth, symbolizing his connection to the desert and the destructive forces he controlled. By presenting these gifts, the Egyptians aimed to align themselves with Set's power, turning his chaos into a shield against greater threats. However, Set's role in rituals wasn't limited to protection. He was also called upon in ceremonies designed to restore balance. In the myth of the contendings of Horus and Set, the conflict between order and chaos was central to Egyptian cosmology. Rituals reenacting this struggle were performed to reaffirm the balance between these two forces, with Set representing the necessary chaos that keeps the universe dynamic and alive. These ceremonies often involved dramatic performances where priests would embody Set and Horus, acting out their battles to remind the community of the delicate equilibrium that sustained their world. Interestingly, Set's rituals also had a darker side. In some cases, he was feared as a bringer of misfortune, and specific rites were conducted to ward off his malevolent influence. For instance, during the New Kingdom, amulets and spells invoking Set's name were used to protect against his chaotic tendencies. These practices reveal the dual nature of Set's worship. He was both a god to be revered and a force to be controlled. One of the most fascinating aspects of Set's influence on rituals was his connection to the afterlife. In funerary practices, Set was sometimes called upon to guard the deceased against the forces of chaos in the underworld. This role highlights the Egyptians' belief that even in death, the balance between order and chaos remained crucial. By including Set in these rites, they acknowledged his power as a necessary part of the cosmic order, even as they sought to mitigate his destructive potential. Through these rituals, Set's chaotic nature was both celebrated and contained, reflecting the Egyptians' nuanced understanding of his role in their world. His presence in these ceremonies reminds us that chaos, while often feared, was also seen as an essential force that shaped their lives and beliefs. As we continue, we'll explore how Set's legacy extends beyond ancient Egypt, influencing modern culture and leaving an indelible mark on our understanding of chaos and its place in the universe. As we reach the end of our journey through the 25 powerful myths about Set, the Egyptian god of chaos, it's clear that Set was far more than just a symbol of destruction. He was a complex and multifaceted deity, embodying both the chaos that disrupts and the chaos that creates. From his dramatic birth and his infamous betrayal of Osiris to his epic battles with Horus and his surprising role as a protector of Ra, Set's myths reveal a god who defies simple categorization. He was feared, revered, and ultimately seen as a necessary force in the delicate balance of the universe. Set's stories remind us that chaos is not merely something to be feared or avoided. It is an essential part of life, a force that challenges, transforms, and renews. The ancient Egyptians understood this duality, weaving Set's chaotic energy into their rituals, art, and cosmology. His myths continue to captivate us today, offering timeless lessons about the interplay between order and disorder, creation and destruction, and the enduring power of transformation. So, what do you think about Set's role in Egyptian mythology? Do you see chaos as a destructive force, or do you believe it has the potential to bring about positive change? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the myths of Set, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an exploration into the fascinating world of ancient mythology. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and remember, sometimes a little chaos is exactly what we need.